Now, Daryl, I mean, we hear it all the time as to how busy and how chaotic it can be to be a startup entrepreneur. I can only imagine that going after, again, for lack of a better way to put it, pursuing PayPal as a partner wasn't the first thing that came to mind. You've probably got a bunch of other things. How did you think about PayPal as a priority in the context of all the other priorities trying to get at your time?
Well, I think there's a couple of things happen. One is that I was looking for a technology supplier. I didn't think it was going to be as big issue to my business as it turned out to be in selecting that supplier because of what we were trying to do in the industry. I needed somebody who was very innovative, and that's what we found. So initially I thought that it would just be a decision, checklist, move on, build other stuff in our application. What's happened since then is that we managed to form a tighter partnership by working together on some products. And maybe not a common scenario for some companies, but it became a lot more of our focus on how we could align ourselves with PayPal and work together to accomplish or open up a new marketplace. So it's a little different perhaps than some, but it's become 1/3 of my time, meaning 100% of my time is focused on PayPal, 100% of my time is focused on revenue, and then 100% of the time is focused on taking care of my customers. Typical entrepreneur, right? Everyone understand that?
Go ahead.
I guess one comment I might make on that too, and just kind of some commentary for the audience here. The one thing that I think that we're always looking for is from the entrepreneurial side of things, think big. Don't think of just the BC area here. Don't just think of Canada. When we look at the payments platform, we are certainly looking at things globally. PayPal is certainly the platform that kind of, one of our sweet spots is about sitting on top of the global payment networks and having them all work together a little bit more seamlessly and more effectively. We bring a little bit of brand equity to the table for customers, so it doesn't matter whether you're in Italy or Spain or Singapore or right here in Victoria or Vancouver. People feel confident when they're being able to pay with PayPal as a payment mechanism. So that if you have that kind of consumer confidence on the back end of your tool, if you can bring something to market, don't think of it just here as local, but think of it, what is the global context? Because those barriers don't exist anymore. And when you're starting up, it's not about capital expenditure as it is operational expenditure. So being able to harness what your opportunity is a lot more globally, and we certainly are trying to figure out ways to, a lot of the developers we have here in Canada aren't building things just for Canada, they're building things for other markets as well. So I think it's an important point to realize.
Yeah, I don't think we can emphasize that part enough. The whole reason we created this particular session is to give the entrepreneurs in BC a sense that you may have a market that you've articulated as your target market, but the opportunity to go after that market by aligning yourself with an organization that already has established a customer base, which is a direct alignment with your customer base. Is a fair statement, Daryl? That's what you were seeing as a real big opportunity for Fundraiser?
Well, for sure. One of the things that happened, we need to, in BC, we need to think outside of our borders. Our domestic market is not that big compared to what's the opportunity in the world. One of the things that happened is by selecting PayPal, it immediately made our application workable in so many countries worldwide. Without a lot of work, I have customers now in Germany today, and we have customers in Europe, in UK, and in Australia, New Zealand, and in the US, all through one platform. I have one way to manage that, one way to market to that. It's very, very powerful to think of the world as the market, not just the regions. There's obviously differences in each, but there's still a commonality we've been able to take advantage of with this.
What would you say the single most important attribute or characteristic of your relationship, your business relationship, has been in order to keep it on a positive path?
I'm not sure exactly how to think of that in single most, but I think if you're trying to form a partnership with a company like this, one of the things to remember is that they have a business problem they're trying to solve. So how do you build a relationship with people in that company and help them solve that problem? Hopefully, you're solving yours as well, but that collaboration between us and the focus on the people, focus on those relationships, not just about the technology. It's a great platform, so what? the working together has made the difference in that. So I'm not sure, I guess I'd put it down. It seems like simple, but put it on the people. Work with the people.
Yeah, I would echo a lot of those comments where it does come down to direct relationships. And don't think of whether it's PayPal or other platforms, whether it be Facebook or Google or any of the likes, huge technology companies, but there are people behind that. And I think going in with the approach of I've got an idea that I need to pitch to a big company may not get you where you want to be. I think you need to be able to get in the door, build some relationships, but do just as much listening as you do talking, and get a better understanding of what are the needs, but also what are the operating rhythms that are going on. And so being able to help each other out in that way. There's a lot of trends that we see as a company that we love to share with our partners in our developer community to say, these are the things that are going on that we're seeing that are hot, that's not. There's opportunity here to be able to exploit. Some of the things that we know that we're working on ourselves and saying, hey, this is coming down the pipe, you may be able to build on this in other different ways as well. So going in with much more of a collaborative, open mindset rather than I have an idea to pitch and I want to be partners with you. It's probably the best approach.
Can I tackle that? One of the things we started this talk saying dancing with a giant. It was try and give you some idea of a metaphor for looking at this. Think about it as dating. You have an intro phase. If you want to get to somebody that's attractive, one of the ways to do it is to creep on them. You know, go ask their friends what they like, what they're interested in, are they a good partner to work with? And then, do you have some sort of common interest? And then the best way to talk to them is probably get an introduction from a mutual friend. And from that point, you move into a dating phase. And that's where the listening part of dating really works. What's the partner interested in? He's telling me all sorts of good things that are happening in the market that could be really beneficial to me. And then if you get into kind of the more commitment or courtship-oriented phase, then, be prepared to treat it like a relationship. You're not going to get everything you want. You may have to compromise a little, just like a marriage. And finally, when you get married, if you've got a partnership established, you've contracted it, you're working with them, it's not over. It's like the marriage. You got to still keep having date night. You got to talk about the kids and try and find out the things you're proud of in them, being the products. You've got to, continue to do the things that worked well up front. So it's a little bit of a joke, but the point is that it's really, if you think about it as a longer term relationship, there's tons of benefit in that. And I've been able to get a bunch of that by listening to what PayPal wants as well.
How many entrepreneurs in the room firstly, how many entrepreneurs in the room know what a value proposition is? Put your hands up, right? So everybody knows what a value proposition is. A really great exercise when you're thinking about a partnership is to go back and do that value proposition creation exercise that you did on your own company, but do it with the partner in mind. In other words, how does your product help them solve their problem? I mean, what was one of the things that resonated with me the most in this last few minutes was that you're trying to position your product to help your partners solve their problems. And so going through that exercise, understanding the value that your product brings to the market for your customers, it might be slightly different for a partner. How does it help your partner solve their problems? How does it help your partner grow? And that's a really great exercise to get you thinking about which partners you could go after and what the value proposition would be when going after your partners. Did you want to add to that, Daryl?
Yeah, no, I would agree. And I think the part of that is just not only the value proposition, but what creativity you bring to the table. And I think maybe if there's a downside of being a bigger corporation is you may have that kind of instinct of you have creative control over what the product should look like. But the reality is no one really has a monopoly on creativity. And so we may have bigger resources than what entrepreneurials and startups have, but not necessarily the creative equity that goes along with that type of thing. So it's a much more of a level playing field than what you might think. So going back to my original point of we're listening just as much as we're talking, and that kind of dating phase really brings things together to better understand there's a ton of innovation that happens at the entrepreneurial level that they're figuring out ways to monetize more effectively, and we're trying to figure out ways to just enable that to happen. So,
great. I think we have time for one more point here. I lost it. Oh, no, here it is. So the question I have is, how has your partnership caused you, if any, to do business differently? Has the partnership and the interaction in your partnership caused you to change processes or methods in the way that you operate, whether it be at the development level with respect to your development team at PayPal, or whether it be in your development team, that kind of thing?
Well, let me go quickly first. I think the big difference is, remember, I went looking for a technology supplier, and what I found was also a co-marketing partner in some way here. So I had to go all in. As a small company, I didn't have a lot of resources to spread between a lot of partners, so I had to make a commitment to do this. And that means interacting pretty closely with this partner and paying very close attention to what they're doing. It's been a big difference in the way we thought the business was originally going to start, where it would end up, to where we are now.
Yeah, what's interesting is, as a payments company, the one thing that we do very closely is we guard people's financial information. And you can imagine people sitting around a boardroom table saying, hey, we are really good at security. It's not something that we actually do. It's probably something that we are. Why don't we open our platform and allow developers full access and start programming against it? And you can imagine people around the table shaking at that concept. But again, it's really about having those kind of discussions and really being able to connect with these people. And it's an ongoing dialogue that we have. And for any of those who are interested in finding out more, not like I'm doing a quick plug, but there is our open platform. There's a ton of information online. It's called x.com. There's a ton of content on there. You can sign up as a developer yourself. You can find out what other developers are building. We actually have our second annual conference in a couple weeks in San Francisco as well. Ground Zero for Payments Innovation. So there'll be a ton of people there building applications who are just wanting to talk to other people in the industry. A great opportunity to be able to talk with people. And there's a lot of useful resources online as well. So we're here as well. There's a number of PayPal staff here as well if you're looking to talk after the session.
So for all the BC startups and all the entrepreneurs in the room, everybody has a PayPal, right? It may not be PayPal specifically. You might have your own PayPal, your own organization somewhere that really can help you move your business forward. And the reason we're here today is really talk about some of those issues and get you thinking about how to go ahead and chase these partnerships. So thank you very much, Daryl Hatton from Connection Point. The product's called Fundraiser, and Daryl McMullen from PayPal. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you. Thanks. Everyone.